Derby, place. Good boy. Hello. Hey Shirley, so this is going to be your how-to video for Derby, and the how-to video is just kind of explaining ways to work with him and how to make his obedience a game. So there are a lot of factors in that. He knows his obedience really well, but sometimes he does try and test things, which is normal. He's a dog. And with tap, tap, there I didn't say anything. I corrected him. He's supposed to be on place. I did not give him a command to leave. I didn't give him another command to come off or come do something with me. So we do want to hold Derby accountable. He knows his obedience really well and he performs beautifully. Place. So he knows his obedience. We hold him accountable for everything. Little things that we're going to hold him accountable for because he knows and he knows better. But in the form of training we use, we actually do love mistakes. So if he makes a mistake like he did now, I'm going to help as much as needed but as little as possible. And that comes with everything in the training. If he needs help with something, we help him as much as he needs, but we try to do it as little as possible. Place. So, with that being said, if he steps off place, I'd tap, tap with my e-collar, give him that, and if he's like getting confused, then he'll start looking around, like looking at you, or like maybe offer a sit, maybe offer a down, stuff like that. Then we could go in, grab his leash, tap, tap. So right there, this placement's kind of small. So right there, if he wasn't to respond to the tap, tap, I could go in, grab his leash, lead him and say place and put him back on place bed. And anytime he is on place, if you want him to stay there, you don't have to say stay. He's there, place, back off, walk away, throw food, there's a cat right there. He's just supposed to hang out. But it is a really boring exercise. So sometimes he does try and come to you or try to go off because it's boring. He wants to be doing stuff, but we also have to include the boring stuff in a typical lifestyle because people can come over. You could be Derby, place. He can hang out there the whole time. You can tell people to ignore the dog. He can just be hanging out. He doesn't have to greet. He doesn't have to be involved or interacting with anything. If he's being too insane, he either goes in the crate, tap, tap, place. If he's being too insane, he can go in the crate, or you can put him on place, and you can, with place, in the home, you can back tie him to something, a table, a door, and back tying is just using this leash, tying it to something to limit his options. So if he was to step off with this, he'd only have this much room to step off before the pressure he put on himself. So the pressure would be put on, and he's putting it on himself. I have nothing to do with this situation. He's putting the pressure on himself, and he knows getting back on the place bed turns off this pressure. So that's kind of how the back tying works with place. Down, down. I know that place bed's small, buddy. So he's being a little iffy because his place bed's small, which is completely okay. Y'all get a big one. With that, he knows what the pressure means, and he knows exactly how to cut his pressure off. Right, buddies. What? I love you. Place. And so he has his commands, which are place, here, sit, down, free, free. Oh, you didn't expect that one. So you can just like kind of name off the commands, but if I look at him and say free with my arms open, he knows he is free to come off place and stuff like that. So we have those commands, and those are the basic foundations of everything. Right, buddy. Derby, sit. Right there, he did down, even though it's sit. So with that, we're gonna help. Pressure up. Good boy. Sit. Say it again. Sit. Reward. So sometimes that happens. It's backing the training because he already came in knowing sit. He wasn't a huge fan of down, so we made down super, super valuable. Derby, place. So now it's one of his favorite things to do and one of his favorite things to offer, which is not a bad thing. We always love the downs. I know, little cat. Good morning. So, we have a game called Simon Says, and we just use that as a way to train. But when you play Simon Says, you have to have different patterns you use each and every time you train with Derby. If your pattern is the exact same, place here, place down here, place, and you keep doing that over and over every single day, I can say Derby here. And he'll come to me, And if I say place, and he's running back, and I switch it to a here, and he comes running back. And I do that over and over again. At some point, he's gonna start running to place and automatically just turn to me and be like, okay, she's gonna say here. That's gonna be her next move. So, excuse me, what Simon says, we always wanna keep the dog guessing. We wanna keep them on their toes. We don't want them to expect things that are coming. And so when they show us that they expect things, that's when we know it's faulty of us, that the pattern stays the exact same, or placed down is the same thing over and over and over again. And so that's where we can the dog will let us know we need to change something because they're getting in a routine. Which a routine is not a terrible thing, but we also just want to keep mixing things up. So, with that being said, he is on place. Place is very, very valuable. Place is home base. After he learned the clicker, place was the second thing he learned. Place is a huge foundation part of this. Place is where, what did I do with my clicker? Sorry. Place is where they can hang out. We can do human things. We can do this. He just hangs out there. Place, he can have a bone, he can have a toy, but on place, not a paw, not a nose, it is not allowed to come off. He is not allowed to smell the ground. He just hangs out. And his legs are kind of long, so sometimes they do hang off, which are completely fine. But as long as all four are on that place bed and not touching your hardwood floor or your carpet, whatever, or if you have his place bed outside, not touching the grass. Derby down. Good boy. As long as all four are on there, he is doing everything correct. And sometimes, if his paw comes off, we can walk up and put our foot here to block it, or we can use the stem. So when training, you can use your stem every 3 out of 5 commands. We don't want to do it every single time, because when he's in training mode, the 2 reasons a dog will not do is either no motivation, which he has awesome motivation, but there might be some days where he's like, I don't want to do this. And then the second is confusion. And confusion can happen when either we're getting frustrated or we think he knows something 100% and we're doing healing and then down, and he's like, we normally sit when you stop, so he starts thinking about everything, and then there starts to become some confusion with that. So when you're working him, you always want to make sure you're being clear, and that's when we come in handy with this. So the e-collar is to back up each command. It's like a tactile command. So that being said, I'm going to stem every 3 out of 5 times when training with Derby. So I could be like, Derby, here, Derby, play. He jumped forward. Derby, place, stuff like that without his e-collar, but then all of a sudden I could be like, tap, Derby, heel. And I could add in that stem, and he's like, wait, what? He's ready to go. He's ready this morning. You're flinching because you want to work. He's like, I hate being on place this long. Place. And so we throw that in, and I'll also explain that when you see me working with Derby. It's a little bit easier to understand. Also, on place, we can also do grooming and handling. We can look at his nails. He's like, oh, I smell your treats. No, down. Oh, I know, I love you. No, down. Good boy. So right there, he got super excited. I stood up, became a tree, used my e-collar. I don't want anything to become personal when training with Derby. No, no. Nose off the ground. Right there, his nose was on the ground. So he's trying to fix himself. Derby down. Right there, I didn't stem. So he was trying to fix himself, but he got a little confused. Oh, good morning. Good morning. And so like I was saying, place can also be used as a grooming and handling thing. Place is where I did all of his nose to tail checks and stuff like that. Looking at his feet, looking at his tail, looking at his belly, looking at those pretty teeth, looking at his ears, right, looking at his eyes, making sure everything's good and stuff like that. And that's a good way to maintain good health and good checks on the pups, right? He's like, this is really nice. This is really nice. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah, buddies, I love yous. Okay, back to business. Whoa! Place. So right there, he got excited. He wanted to be involved. I was giving him belly rubs, giving him that attention. The second I stood up and said place, he got serious and was back in that mindset. So that's what I mean by holding him accountable, because if I would have just stepped back, not reminded him, he more than likely would have just came off place. So it's all about keeping an eye, but you don't want to babysit. We never want to babysit. So it'd just be like, Derby place. Yay, I could be talking to people, I could be doing anything, just standing here, you know, looking through things. Place, throwing food, there's a cat, oh wow, there's this. And he's gonna stay on place. So I could be, so say you're in your home and you put Derby on place. You could walk around, you could sit at your dinner table, read a book, watch a movie, see him out of the corner of your eye, he steps off. This comes in handy because anytime he's going to be out of his crate, he will be wearing his gear and you will be wearing yours. Your gear will be a treat pouch. His gear is his leash and his e-collar. And you will also be wearing the treat pouch, the remote, and the finger kick at all times, anytime you're out, even if it's just for a potty time. Say if you went outside and was digging in the yard and you really didn't want that, we could add this in without it becoming personal. Right, baby boy. So this is gonna be the Simon Says game. I'm always going to be using my leash, and at some point I might drop it, like to do downstays, play stays, stuff like that. He was about to down. That's very nice, buddy. And stuff like that. But when I use this for healing and stuff, I'll show you, I am not going to use this to help. I'm gonna have my slack and his slack on the leash. If he puts pressure because he's in front of me or he's too far behind, that's on him, and I'll tell him to move his butt. Right, heel. So right then and there, I always want his e-collar where the seam of my pants would be. So, come here, dude. It's like I hold it, please. So I always want that e-collar where the seam of my pants would be. So I want that e-collar to line up right about here. I don't want him to cross that. So we're setting that boundary. He knows that boundary. But in the beginning of sessions or when he gets super excited, sometimes he does try and break that boundary. And this comes in and I just tap this and he should fix himself like he did. And so I clicked because he's fixing himself. And I love that I don't have to babysit that, or I don't have to be using this leash 24/7. Right, so we're holding him accountable for every little part of his training. Right, Derbs. Heel. Yeah. So right there, he decided he was going to try and go for a piece of food on the ground. Tap. What I have should be a lot more valuable to him. Tap. So when he starts to get excited with things, we are going to slow down. Because if we keep building up that excitement and everything, it's going to set him up for failure. Over here. So if he starts getting excited, bouncing around, doing all this crazy stuff, not walking like a normal person, no, good boy. We're gonna slow ourselves down and get him truly into focus. Heel. Tap. Good, that is beautiful. He's keying in with me. Tap. He's looking at me. And I really like that because he's truly focusing. Heel. So then in there, before we ever stop from a heel and we want the dog to sit, we say sit with a stem, take about 1 or 2 more steps, and then come to a stop, and he should stop with me because I gave him that warning. It's the same thing with turns. I always say heel and tap right before I turn, so it's giving him a warning, because when we turn in to our left, we do not want him touching our leg. So I'll demonstrate that. Derby, heel. Heel. So right there, he wasn't paying attention. Heel. He can sit. That's beautiful. He can sit as long as he does not touch my leg and he gets back in to good heel with me. Right. He's like, I'm smart. I know what I'm doing. Heel. Tap. He puts that pressure on himself. Tap. Sit. So right then and there, he's trying to be full of dopamine. And I want him to calm down. I want him to focus. Right. So see how he's sitting? This is how he should always be when you come to a halt and come to when you want him to sit. Especially coming from a heel. Derby. No kitty cats. He should always be right here. His collar is behind, which I really like because his face is even with me. Because with the big dog, we don't want them up here, especially if we're walking past people. We want him hanging out right beside us. Right. Heel. Tap. Tap. Right there. He thought he got confused because he wasn't paying attention. Heel. He thought I was going to say place. Good. So, Derby, place. So this is a clicker. Clicker creates dopamine. So after we do a lot of static exercises, which heel is also considered a static exercise, even though we are moving, he is to stay in this spot and this spot only. So place is also the other static exercise, and static exercises are not truly his favorite, but he loves to heel, especially when there's some dopamine and we're doing some other stuff in between. So this is going to be the full-on Simon Says game, adding in everything, throwing in some challenges, throwing in some stuff. And he might struggle with some things, and that's completely okay. Place. Here. Sit. You caught it! Yay! Heel. Yeah. Derby. If he wants to scratch, that's up to him. Derby. Heel. Tap. Heel. So he's getting frustrated. Frustration is completely okay. Heel. Beautiful. Place. Put a place. He's confused. So right there, he started getting excited about the heel. Place. Here. 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 Go to place. Down. 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 So he's getting worried about these tassels hanging down. It's fine. So these I always tuck and pull through. We're all good now. Down. Derby. Down. So this is what I mean. He got confused, and so now he's just like, what am I supposed to do? And that's okay. I came in and I helped. Down. So these are considered our play states. I can walk all the way down that field and walk all the way up, and he is not going to move until given command free, or here, or stuff like that. Free. You're free. No problem. Sit. Down. See, now he's not confused, so he has the dopamine, he has the excitement. Right. Here. He thought he was going to go back to place. No. Place, that one. He's going. There's another place bed there, so he's used to going to place right there. I told him go on this. He's offering a heel. Heel. Sit. He fixed it. He knew he was a little far ahead, so he backed himself up. Heel. Good. So the scratching is part of frustration and confusion. He scratches, we get him to stop, and we're like, hey, get back on track. So this morning he doesn't have a lot of dopamine, he doesn't have a lot of energy. That's okay. So I'm gonna go all the way down in this field and I'm gonna do a recall. Down, place. Constant pressure. Place. Place. He doesn't want to do, I raise the pressure. Down. No. Grab it here. Heel. Sit. Heel. So if he comes out in front, I just walk again. Sit. There it is. So if he wants to swing around, I don't acknowledge it, I just heel. We heel again, and I walk a little bit, and then I say sit, and give him a chance to fix it, which he did. Down. Which that is completely fine, because normally when we taught down, I was in front of him, so if he swings around in front, it's 100% okay. Down. Down. Nope. Yep. Down. Down. Good morning. I don't even have to acknowledge him. I could be over here messing with the little kitten, petting the cat, giving him some of his snacks. He stays down. So when I'm going to reward a down, before I come in, I say down, bring this. If he gets up or any elbows come off, I back up and try again. Down. Bring this to muzzle level. We don't allow crawling. Down. Bring it in. I bring it down to muzzle level because if we keep it up here, he's going to rise up from his down. Down. Hi, Nugget. Down. You're free. Place. So we can reward for the intention. He was walking towards and I click, click. Place. Sit. Oh. Other one. Help. Sit. Go boy. Sit. Yeah. So right there, he was committed to it, and I clicked. He didn't want to come. That's okay. We like the commitment. Right. You're tired. It's like static exercises made me think a lot. You're free. I didn't tell you to do anything. You're here. I can let him off for some behaviors. You're free. He's committed. Free. Come here. Yeah. Down. Beautiful. Oh, you missed. Sit. He's keying in. It's fine, right then and there, because he was not in a heel that he got in front of me. Heel. Heel. Come on. Heel. pace, I can slow down my pace. He's matching with me. Tap. Right then and there. You didn't give a command. No. Heel. Pick up my pace. Slow down. Heel. Didn't stem. Sit. There, I did stem because I gave him a chance. No. Sit. Nope. Sit. Nope. Nope. He wants to lay down. I told him to sit. So right there, after that, after I gave him a second, after I said sit to think about it, I added in that stem. Heel. Heel. Sit. There it is. I didn't stem on either of those. Derby. Place. So, that's kind of a little example of the Simon Says game. So, when we're rewarding, look at your ears, you're very cute. When we're rewarding, we have 3 types of reward. In the static exercises, it is room service. Room service is bringing it to them, to their muzzle, to their mouth. Click, click means release from what we're doing, remove from that position. So if he was in place, I'd click, click, and he would have to release to come collect his reward. And even in heel, if I click, click, I step back and put the reward back here. So he has to figure out, oh, I gotta click because I was in this spot. So if I put myself back there, I might get another click. But we keep the reward unpredictable. Right. And then the third way is how we like to end our sessions, which is with a jackpot. Jackpot is everything that is in here. Everything is super valuable, and say he was on place, and you had people knock on the door, people come through, and he didn't budge. I would give him everything you have, because that is amazing. And then he starts to realize, huh, they can knock on the door, but if they knock on the door and I stay here, I get snacks. So he kind of relates that to, I get snacks and I get really nice treats and rewards from mom. Right, babe. Right. That's right. And then, let's see. I think that's pretty much it, Derps. He's really awesome, but there are times where he does get pretty confused. And so, confusion is okay. Mistakes are okay. So this, what you're seeing in this video, was not his best session at all. I have had many, many better sessions with him. But there are going to be days where Derby is like, I don't really feel like doing it today. Or some days he'll be like, I have no clue what you're saying to me. But he does know, and that's what I'm talking about, holding him accountable for. He knows these behaviors. He has worked on these behaviors for 29 days. Every single day, twice a day. He knows them. He knows how to do them. He knows what he is being asked. So we just have to hold him accountable for everything. Because he's a good boy. He's very smart. Yeah, you're very smart. Yes, and he's very loving. And all he really wants to do is please his handler. Yeah. Good boy, good. I love you. I'm gonna miss you.